what's new in the economic news. Michael Schneider's got another great article, how QE3 will make the wealthy even wealthier while causing living standards to fall for the rest of us. He writes, a bunch of unelected bankers that are not accountable to the American people are running our economy into the ground, and the American people do not even realize what's happening. So the first rounds of quantitative easing were supposed to bring back jobs. They were supposed to stimulate the housing market. They weren't supposed to drive up prices or even inflation, even though none of that makes sense. But none of that happened. It only put money on the stock market, where the wealthiest people in our country were easily able to siphon off those profits, and the other money was pumped into banks, who were supposed to lend to the American people so the middle class could take out loans, do ordinary things, and we could repair ourselves. None of that happened, though, because the Federal Reserve gave those banks a direct incentive to invest their money at the Federal Reserve and make easy interest money without even taking the risk of loans. And all this is driving us into the ground. So why is QE3 even worse? Not only is it money created out of thin air, but Bernanke has promised that this time it's going to be open-ended. It's going to go on indefinitely, and he's saying they're going to buy those mortgage-backed securities, that garbage derivatives trash that helped implode the economy the first time in 2008, but now they're going to buy those garbage notes and everything and the bonds indefinitely, month after month, by the tens of billions. He's saying it can't stop. It won't stop. It's a heroin addiction. It's a drug addict's model. He's going to drive the economy into overdose because Bernanke can't and won't do anything else. And it's basically, as Michael Schneider appropriately calls it, a short-term economic high. That is a short-term economic sugar high. And it may put off the larger crisis for a while, but every action he takes is just making the eventual crash even worse. We turn now to our quote of the day. It comes from Funk and Wagnall's new comprehensive English dictionary. It is the definition of terrorism, which is nothing more than, quote, a system of government that seeks to rule by intimidation, unlawful acts of violence committed in an organized attempt to overthrow government. And if you think that just has to do with some shadowy enemy, think again, because governments have used it for control throughout history as foreign policy, what we're doing today, as well as to subvert the legitimate government on the domestic side. We're going to be back with more on the other side, but please don't forget about prisonplanet.tv. That's how you help fund us and help get out the word. It's also where you can find an entire library of almost endless information. And do not forget about planetinfowars.com, where you can create your own networks, get the information out that you think is important, meet other people, and drive this issue into the mainstream so we can try to turn things around. We'll be back in just a moment.
Visit INFOWARS.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.